Welcome to the deep dive. So, you've given us these excerpts from Adam Sage's book, Every Tool's a Hammer.
That's right.
And our mission basically is to, dig through, pull out the really key insights about making, creativity, problem
hmm
solving, and just serve them up for you. Sort of a shortcut to his wisdom.
Exactly. And there's a lot there. Savage has spent a lifetime building things, from movie props to, well, Mythbusters.
Right.
So we're distilling that down.
Right.
Things like why being curious feels vulnerable, the surprising usefulness of lists,
Oh, yeah, the list.
and why making mistakes is actually, crucial.
Okay, let's dive in. That first idea really hit me, showing deep curiosity, being obsessed with something. He says it's like an act of vulnerability.
Yeah, like a dog showing his belly. It means you have to
Yeah.
really trust your surroundings.
Huh. And he connects that to being a teenager.
He does. Because that's often when, showing that passion gets you hostility, maybe ridicule.
Right, from peers.
So you learn to hide it. Bury those interests to protect yourself. You stop showing your belly.
Oof. Yeah. So the answer, he says, is finding your people.
Your tribe. Could be one friend, a group, a community, a sauna, he calls it.
A safe space.
Exactly. Where you can show your belly, and that curiosity is actually welcomed.
And the internet plays a huge role now.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Connects people globally. So even if you're isolated locally, you can find others who get your specific, maybe weird obsession.
Yeah.
And that gives you permission to explore it, share it.
He calls himself a serially curious person. The list is wild. History, sci-fi, film,
Architecture, computers, glue.
Legos, magic. Glue! It just shows, follow those little pings of interest.
And he really credits his parents here. His dad was an artist, mom a psychotherapist.
Oh, interesting combo.
Yeah, and they didn't just put up with his curiosity. They actively encouraged it, gave him permission, tools,
Guided it, maybe. Away from just making trouble.
kind of steered it constructively, yeah. But it's interesting, he contrasts that with things he dropped,
Right, the mediocrity plus one stuff.
like juggling or acting. He got okay, but he realized he just didn't care enough to push further,
Ah.
which led him to realize in his early 20s that making was different. That's where he could aim for, real excellence.
And that's when he dove in headfirst.
That was the commitment moment.
Okay, so we've embraced the curiosity, found your people, committed. What next? It's not a straight line, he says.
No, definitely not. Creative projects almost never end up exactly how you first imagined them.
And that's okay.
Better than okay. It's not a bug, it's a feature. The journey goes from A to way beyond zebra, not just A to B.
Love that. Way beyond zebra.
The unexpected twists, that's where the interesting stuff happens.
So how do you, find your way in that non-linear space?
He talks about going deep,
Mm.
really digging into something you can't stop thinking about.
Obsession, basically.
Yeah, digging right through the bottom of the rabbit hole. That's how we got so good at prop replication,
The Blade Runner blaster example is kind of amazing.
isn't it? 30 years, 3 different versions, constantly researching, gun making, rewatching the movie,
Wow.
talking to anyone who might have seen the original. That project just stuck with him through everything.
He also mentions the Doctor Strangelove survival pack, researching real WWII packs.
And finding the movie one had, like lipstick and prophylactics.
Things you would not find in a real one. Shows creative license.
Right. And it brings up, where do ideas even come from? He thinks they're just out there floating everywhere.
And your interest is like gravity, pulling them in.
Kind of, yeah. He says it's the duty of a creator to notice those little pings of interest
Pay attention.
and see where they go. Prop replication, cosplay, those are the results.
But like the alien spacesuit. Took almost 15 years.
Yeah, and only got finished because of a Comic-Con deadline.
Ha! Sometimes you need that external push.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which leads us to, how do you manage these huge, potentially decades-long projects? Lists. He sees them as the key tool for taming the lion of a complex project.
He started young, right? Transcribing George Carlin's curse words.
Yeah. From TV replays, he calls it his first true collection.
And that's where his completist side came out. Wanting all the info, making it usable.
Exactly. And that carried right into prop making. He wanted to know everything around a prop, its whole world.
Which led him to make lesser-known stuff like the 2001 Haywood Floyd suit.
Just because the information was there to be gathered, the story completed.
So how does a list actually tame the lion? What's the process?
It's about getting all the tasks, big and small, down in one place, onto a master list.
So you can actually see the whole thing.
Right. Suddenly, it's not this endless, overwhelming mess. It's a single, manageable project on paper.
The Mecha glove example is intense. Over 600 pieces, 4 years.
Managed with hundreds of lists.
Hmm.
Building lists, hardware lists, research contacts, problems.
Even drawings, pictorial lists.
Yeah. It was the only way to get a handle on it.
And his list making got more sophisticated over time.
Definitely. Started as just brute force gathering. Then he brought in graphic design ideas, clarity, outlines, diagrams.
Makes sense. Cleaner is easier to use.
Any list helps, but cleaner helps more. But the real quantum leap, he says, was at ILM.
Industrial Light and Magic, what happened there?
Supervisors used this simple 3-part checkbox.
Yeah.
Full box. Done. Half diagonal. In progress. Empty. Not started.
Ah, instant visual status update.
Genius, right? He immediately started using it himself. Every day, transfer the incomplete stuff.
Connecting the daily grind to the big picture.
Exactly. He got so meticulous, his coworkers would prank him by adding things to his list.
Like buy Mike Lynch lunch.
Yeah, stuff like that.
He also talks about breaking things down, right?
Yeah.
Big chunks and medium chunks.
Yeah, like for the Mecha glove gun.
Big chunk.
Big chunk. Medium chunks. Body, electronics, graphics.
And checklists for each.
Detailed checklists. They help you see how parts depend on each other, keep momentum, avoid getting stuck because you missed a step.
Prevents frustration.
Hopefully. And he even has a specific list for when he steps away from a project.
The put it away for a bit list?
Yeah, catches those ideas that pop up when you're not actively working, like when traveling, so you don't lose them.
Okay, speaking of frustration, things go wrong. A lot.
Always. But Savage's take is powerful. Creation is iteration, not failure.
So wrong turns are just part of the path.
Exactly. It's how you learn, gain experience, get better. It takes tolerance, literal precision tolerance, and figurative tolerance for mistakes.
He tells that story about the bike rack when he was 16.
Oh yeah, drilling upwards, impatient.
Snap the bit, ruin the part, destroy the tool, late for work.
A dumb, impatient movement, he calls it. Took him years to really get the lesson. Doing it right is faster than rushing.
But impatience isn't always bad, is it?
No, he admits deadlines, even self-imposed ones, can be good. For tedious stuff, like making tons of identical brackets for Space Cowboys.
Setting little goals to get through it. Balanced efficiency.
Right. But the other side of impatience, the need to be the hero, do it all yourself, that could be disastrous.
The NYU film set story sounds rough.
Really rough. Trying to do everything, flats wrinkling, wrong glue, pushing the crew through all-nighters.
And they finally asked him if he even knew what he was doing.
Yeah. And he lost a friend over it. Really painful.
What did he learn from that? His dad gave him some advice.
Crucial advice. Recognize the mess up. Figure out why it happened so you don't repeat it. But remember, the mistake doesn't make you a bad person.
It's huge.
And the big takeaway, trying to be the solo hero is damaging. You have to have the humility to ask for help.
It's essential, not a weakness, even if learning that costs you.
And that directly connects to how Mythbusters started, right? Jamie needed help.
He needed someone Hemi for the demo reel.
And despite Savage being known as a serious maker, Jamie asked him. Jamie needed help. Savage could provide it. That's how the partnership began.
But asking for help or delegating, it's hard for makers, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. He mentions Jen Schachter saying, no one else will do it the way I will. That mindset.
It's a perfectionist trap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even though makers often love collaborating when it's not a boss-employee thing.
Like the White House sign project they did together?
Yeah, that worked because they had a shared vision, egos aside.
He also talks about feedback, realizing he needed to give critical feedback, not just praise.
Right. Because he himself benefited from tough feedback early on. It helps build that possibility engine in a shop.
And then there's perfect is the enemy of done.
Such a key phrase. Deadlines, force completion. The Mythbusters schedule, the alien suit for Comic-Con.
Without a deadline, things can just drift.
Forever.
Yeah.
But he also notes, knowing a missed deadline isn't the end of the world can actually help.
How so?
Like on Space Cowboys. Intense pressure, but knowing that if they failed, the commercial just wouldn't run. Nobody dies. Let them channel the stress into productivity.
Ah, perspective. And lists helped manage that pressure cooker.
Absolutely. Seeing how tasks fit the time, avoiding dead ends.
He also talks about different kinds of tolerance needed.
Yeah, the giant water pump build needed performance tolerance. No room for error.
But the Blade Runner blaster with rare parts...
That needed time tolerance. Go slow, take years, because a late-stage mistake would be catastrophic due to limited materials. Mistake tolerance.
So you adapt your approach based on the constraints.
You have to. And his ZF1 build from the fifth element, that's his poster child for iteration through construction.
Building it 10 times? How?
Mechanical connections. Screws, bolts, not glue. So he could take it apart, tweak it, add stuff, put it back together again and again.
Which brings us neatly to the philosophy of glue.
It sounds funny, but it's important. Glue joins things, sure. But you have to match the glue to the materials.
Its properties matter. Hardness, flexibility, how it handles temperature.
Exactly. He mentions different types, PVA, wood glue for porous stuff, contact cement, you coat both sides, let it get tacky.
Hot glue for quick prototypes, but not strong long-term.
Right. Epoxy putty for filling gaps or joining. CA glue, super glue the soul of special effects. Weld bonds that melt plastic.
But the key point about glue...
It's permanent. Once it's set, you're done.
Yeah.
Trying to undo it is usually a disaster. No options.
Like getting on the freeway?
Exactly. Compared to mechanical fasteners, screws, bolts, which are like city streets, you can undo them, change direction, iterate.
That's why the ZF1 used fasteners. Modularity.
Precisely. Allowed for continuous improvement.
Okay, let's shift from the tools to the space you use them in, the workshop.
Right, and his point is there's no single right way to organize, but there's definitely a wrong way.
Which is whatever doesn't work best for you.
Yeah. He talks about his own visual chaos, these dunes of detritus that make sense to him.
Versus the super neat ILM benches.
His approach is messy on the surface, but underneath it's about first-order retrievability.
Meaning you can grab what you need quickly.
Yeah. Multiple sets of common tools, like Allen wrenches, placed around the shop so he doesn't have to walk far.
Using pen sorters to stand tools up.
Little tricks for accessibility. But it's a constant process, he says. Like 20% of his day is just organizing.
A work in progress.
Always. And it should reflect your way of thinking, not someone else's. Like his way versus Nick Offerman's or Jamie Hyman's.
Find your own system.
Definitely. And part of that system involves finding your go-to material for early ideas. He calls it crowning your king.
Your low-threshold material. Cheap, easy to work with.
Exactly. Something you can mess up with, experiment freely. For him, it's cardboard.
He uses it for everything. Ship models, armor, house models, furniture mock-ups.
Props, costumes.
Yeah.
Because with just a knife and hot glue, he can get a physical feel for an idea super quickly.
Without worrying about cost or wasting good material.
Right. It lets you get that 3D understanding fast. He suggests others like muslin, scrap wood, paper.
The key is it lets you be messy and keeps you moving.
Keeps the ideas flowing.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. The vulnerability of curiosity, finding your people, the non-linear path, lists, mistakes as iteration.
Asking for help. Tools. Glue versus fasteners. Workspaces. Your king material.
Which leads us to the final, really crucial piece. Sharing.
Yeah, this feels like a core part of his philosophy. Sharing knowledge isn't just nice, it's like a mission. Balancing the scales, fueling progress.
His bias is towards openness. The more you give away, the richer you will be.
And he breaks down what to share. First, share what you're interested in.
Like him seeing Star Wars and realizing things are made, that spark.
And later, sharing his painting skills with his assistant, Mel. Mel learned Savage could delegate more. The whole shop became more capable.
The possibility engine.
Love that term. Second, share what you've done.
Good work isn't enough if nobody knows about it.
Word of mouth is huge. And bring the actual thing, like him bringing that suitcase of props to his interview with Jamie.
Seeing is believing. Feeling the object tells you a lot.
Totally. Third, and this is big, share the credit.
He insists his chances came because others shared credit with him.
And he contrasts that with credit hogging you see elsewhere. Creating anything great takes a village.
Nobody does it alone.
So publicly acknowledging collaborators is vital. It shows what's possible when egos step back.
It reinforces that idea. Knowledge is power, but giving it away is the most powerful act.
Yeah, the mentors who shared generously, they thrived. Those who hoarded, not so much.
He also says share your process, your roadmap.
Like the Mecha glove poster he made from his lists and drawings, so others could try building it.
Or sharing Carlin's list, wanting others to use it. The excitement about the Kubrick family sharing 2001 suit documents.
It enables others. It raises the bar for everyone.
And finally, share your vision, especially for collaboration.
You have to articulate the dream clearly. What is it? How does it work? Why do we need it?
But also be open to how others interpret and add to that vision.
Absolutely. He mentions Guillermo del Toro on Pacific Rim, managing that huge shared vision, or his Lunchbox project with Tom Sachs, shared starting point, totally different results.
Clear intent, but receptive to input.
That's the balance.
So, okay, wrapping this up for you listening. We've gone through Savage's world curiosity's vulnerability, finding community, the winding path of creation, lists for control, mistakes as learning, asking for help, tools, workspaces, sharing.
It's a rich set of ideas. And they're not just for making physical stuff, are they?
Not at all. These are really blueprints for tackling any creative challenge, any complex problem you face, any journey of learning, really.
So the final thought to leave you with.
Yeah, think about it. What's your low threshold material, your cardboard king for just trying things out?
And what knowledge, what little skill or insight could you share with someone else today?
And maybe most importantly, how can you consciously embrace that messy, iterative, nonlinear process? Not just to get to the end result, but to find the real joy and understanding along the way.